With the 2016 elections coming up, I believe something major is going to happen pretty soon. As I covered many times in previous videos, I believe Barack Obama will stay in power somehow. And I believe it's going to come through, like the Bible states, a false miracle. Let me read here from 2 Ephesians 2:9 through 12. The coming of the lawless one, the Antichrist, is according to the works of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. And this is very important, lying wonders. And with all unrighteous deception, that's all what's taking place today in the news, with all the supposed tragedies such as Sandy Hook, the Boston bombing, that supposedly took place in Paris, France, San Bernardino, and so forth. This is what the Bible is talking about. Unrighteous deception. Continue on. Among those who perish because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. What I find the most interesting out of this verse, it talks about lying wonders. And I believe it all comes down to the false miracle with Obama basically surviving the mortal wound to his head as the Antichrist himself. Now understand here, like I stated in previous videos, about the law of reversal. Let me get back to the image you saw earlier with Obama. He stated, serve Satan in reverse in that speech. It's very important I mention this, as I stated, the law of reversal when it comes to Crowley and Eliphas Levi, how they do everything in reverse. You know, walking backwards, like Michael Jackson does his backslide, riding backwards, listen to phonographic records reversed, practice speaking backwards, read backwards. Like I stated, they say the prayers backward in the satanic churches. Now let's take a listen, as many people have heard this already, but it's very important with Obama in reverse speech, again, which has all to do with Satanism, again with the law of reversal. Let's take a listen. I'm going to play all these clips back to back.
My great friend, Dick Durbin, and to all my fellow citizens of this great nation, with profound gratitude and great humility, I accept your nomination for presidency of the United States. Let me express my thanks.
Of course, he says it multiple times. Let me express. Again, the law of reversal being applied here.
And
just for reference, hear it again in reverse.
And
of course, Barack Obama's famous or infamous slogan was, "Yes, we can." And they derived that slogan for a reason. Take a listen to the song by Will I Am. And of course, another mockery with Will I Am.
We can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Now in reverse. Same music video playing backwards. Pretty obvious to see what's taking place here with the reverse speech. As I mentioned, same thing with Oprah applying the law of reversal with Harpo Studios, of course, Oprah backwards. Here's an image of Harpo Studios, the Oprah Winfrey Show. It showed before, own network, and the building, Oprah's building, own network for New World Order. Now understand something when it comes to Obama. It's pretty obvious what's taking place here, as people have seen in this previous video, with him basically mocking the Bible. Let's take a listen to this, and how he basically treats the Bible, and let's compare it to how he talks about Islam.
Passages of Scripture should guide our public policy. Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application?
Of course, after hearing that's clear mockery of the Bible, let's see his take on Islam. Find it very interesting how he speaks about Islam.
Assalamu alaikum. Many other Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim majority country. As the Holy Quran tells us, the Holy Quran teaches that, the Holy Quran tells us, and the Holy Quran also says, we will convey our deep appreciation for the Islamic faith, which has done so much over the centuries to shape the world. I would like to speak directly to the people and leaders of the Islamic Republic of Iran, their great and celebrated culture. Over many centuries, your art, your music, literature, and innovation have made the world a better and more beautiful place. We know that you are a great civilization, and your accomplishments have earned the respect of the United States and the world. I also know civilization's debt to Islam. It was Islam at places like Uruzara that carried the light of learning through so many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment.
I find it interesting, all these positive comments about Islam, and I can't find a single positive comment about the Bible anywhere out of Barack Obama's mouth. Interesting enough, let's take a look here at these images of these former U.S. presidents. We're here with Harry Truman. You can see it says Arabia on his fez. It says Islam on this fez here. Gerald Ford, the same thing. It says Aladdin. Of course, these are all Freemasons. So you just see the connection with Islam and Freemasonry all right in front of us. As a form of mockery, after the Twin Towers came down, what do? They put a designed minaret on top of the trade tower, just like in Islam. Just another look here. I mean, how people can't see what's taking place is beyond me. Complete mockery for millions and millions of people to see, and very few understand what's taking place. It's very sad. Now, getting on to the topic about Barack Obama and understanding the deception that's taken place with the supposed name Barack Obama, which is basically fabricated. Like I mentioned before, his real dad is named Frank Marshall Davis, a former communist from Hawaii, who wasn't born there, but he basically lived in Hawaii. That basically makes Barack Obama a U.S. citizen no matter where he was born. Supposed father, his fabricated father, Barack Obama Sr., they implanted this man for a reason. It all comes down to the name of Barack Obama and the meaning. As I mentioned before, in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus said he beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. And understand the meaning of lightning. It all revolves around the Bible. The Hebrew meaning of lightning is Barak. As you can see here, an image of the Barak missile. And also just a closer look at the text where Barak is lightning. You see that connection there. And interesting enough as well, when it comes to Israel, former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, basically the last name of lightning, he was born Ehud Brag, but changed his name to Barak, just like Barack Obama, to have lightning in his name one way or another. Barak has it as his first name, Ehud has it as his last name. And of course the last name being Obama, and Bama in Hebrew meaning the heights. Basically heaven, as it states here in Isaiah, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is referring to Lucifer or Satan. So you see how Obama chose his name because it basically means, again, from Luke chapter 10, verse 18, lightning falling from heaven. So to me, everything points at Obama being the Antichrist. He could be a clever deception. There's two scenarios that could take place. Basically, he survives a mortal wound, which will be a fabricated hoax, like the Bible states, lying wonders, basically a false miracle. After that, people will look at him like he's some type of god and follow the beast like the Bible says. Or it's another potential possibility that sometime after the election, he becomes basically the head of the UN. Time will tell, but again, I believe it's Obama.
You guys have a nickname for this car. What's it called, and why do you call it that?
It's often referred to as the Beast.
Secret Service agents call the presidential limousine the Beast.
I found this video footage very interesting. I'm going to break it down as I go along. It's basically three posters side by side at Obama's headquarters down in Davie, Florida. This is prior to him becoming president. This is basically the campaign headquarters. Let's take a look at this footage. From a distance, this camera's kind of shaky, but you can clearly see the 666 at a distance. Now, as you approach, what do you see? You see Obama in a barber shop getting a haircut. And I believe everybody, basically in this photo, or this poster, was taken with getting the 6 in mind. Continue the video a little bit here. Why would they put three posters side by side inside the window? For one simple reason. They were instructed to, the people that run this headquarters. They might not even know why, but they were told to do this. And from a distance, again, kind of blurry, try to make it stop at the right angle or right position you can see it. This guy's moving the camera a little bit too much. But basically, from a distance, these are 3 6s. Pretty creepy how they did this. I mean, if they just had one poster there, I would say, what's, one thing. But for them to put 3 posters side by side again, and they all look like 6s, this is no coincidence. This is by design. Again, just as I stated so many times, just more mockery. This is how they do it. The Antichrist, they put it right in your face. 666 with Obama.
You can't say it, but you know it's true. Good evening, everybody. It is an honor to be here at my last, and perhaps the last, White House Correspondents' Day. You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better. I do apologize. I know I was a little late tonight. I was running on CPT. Which stands for jokes that white people should not make. Tip for you, Jeff. Anyway, here we are. My 8th and final appearance at this unique event. And I am excited. If this material works well, I'm going to use it at Goldman Sachs next year. Earn me some serious Tubmans. That's right. That's right. My brilliant and beautiful wife, Michelle, is here tonight. She looks so happy to be here. That's called practice. It's like learning to do 3-minute planks. She makes it look easy now, but next year at this time, someone else will be standing here in this very spot, and it's anyone's guess who she will be. But standing here, I can't help but be reflective, a little sentimental. 8 years ago, I said it was time to change the tone of our politics. In hindsight, I clearly should have been more specific. Eight years ago, I was a young man, full of idealism and vigor. And look at me now. I am gray, grizzled, just counting down the days till my death panel. Hillary once questioned whether I'd be ready for a 3 a.m. phone call. Now I'm awake anyway because I got to go to the bathroom. I'm up. In fact, somebody recently said to me, Mr. President, you are so yesterday. Justin Trudeau has completely replaced you. He's so handsome, he's so charming. He's the future. And I said, Justin, just give it a rest. I resented that. Meanwhile, Michelle has not aged a day. The only way you can date her in photos is by looking at me. Take a look. Here we are in 2008. Here we are a few years later. And this one is from 2 weeks ago. So time passes. In just 6 short months, I will be officially a lame duck. Which means Congress now will flat out reject my authority. And Republican leaders won't take my phone calls. And this is going to take some getting used to. It's really going to, it's a curveball. I don't know what to do with it. Of course, in fact, 4 months now, congressional Republicans have been saying there are things I cannot do in my final year. Unfortunately, this dinner was not one of them. But on everything else, it's another story. And you know who you are, Republicans. In fact, I think we've got Republican Senators Tim Scott and Cory Gardner. They're in the House, which reminds me, security, bar the doors. Judge Merrick Garland, come on out. We're going to do this right here, right now. It's like the Red Wedding. But it's not just Congress. Even some foreign leaders, they've been looking ahead, anticipating my departure. Last week, Prince George showed up to our meeting in his bathrobe. That was a slap in the face. A clear breach of protocol. Although while in England, I did have lunch with Her Majesty the Queen, took in a performance of Shakespeare, hit the links with David Cameron, just in case anybody is still debating whether I'm black enough. I think that settles the debate. I won't lie. Look, this is a tough transition. It's hard. Key staff are now starting to leave the White House. Even reporters have left me. Savannah Guthrie, she's left the White House press corps to host the Today Show. Norah O'Donnell left the briefing room to host CBS This Morning. Jake Tapper left journalism to join CNN. But the prospect of leaving the White House is a mixed bag. You might have heard that someone jumped the White House fence last week, but I have to give Secret Service credit. They found Michelle, brought her back. She's safe. She's safe back at home now. It's only 9 more months, baby. Settle down. And yet somehow, despite all this, despite the churn, in my final year, my approval ratings keep going up. The last time I was this high, I was trying to decide on my major. And here's the thing, I haven't really done anything differently. So it's odd. Even my aides can't explain the rising poll numbers. What has changed? Nobody can figure it out. Puzzling. Anyway, in this last year, I do have more appreciation for those who've been with me on this amazing ride. Like one of our finest public servants, Joe Biden. God bless him. Love that guy. I love Joe Biden. I really do. And I want to thank him for his friendship, for his counsel, for always giving it to me straight, for not shooting anybody in the face. Thank you, Joe. Also, I would be remiss. Let's give it up for our host, Larry Wilmore. Also known as one of the 2 black guys who's not Jon Stewart. You're the South African guy, right? I love Larry. And his parents are here, who are from Evanston, which is a great town. I also would like to acknowledge some of the award-winning reporters that we have with us here tonight. Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo, Leah Schreiber. Thank you all for everything that you've done. I'm just joking. As you know, Spotlight is a film, a movie, about investigative journalists with the resources and the autonomy to chase down the truth and hold the powerful accountable. Best fantasy film since Star Wars. Look, that was maybe a cheap shot. I understand the news business is tough these days. It keeps changing all the time. Every year at this dinner, somebody makes a joke about BuzzFeed, for example, changing the media landscape. And every year the Washington Post laughs a little bit less hard. It's kind of a silence there, especially at the Washington Post table. GOP Chairman Reince Priebus is here as well. Glad to see that you feel that you've earned a night off. Congratulations on all your success. The Republican Party, the nomination process, it's all going great. Keep it up. Kendall Jenner is also here, and we had a chance to meet her backstage. She seems like a very nice young woman. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but I am told that my Twitter mentions are about to go through the roof. Helen Mirren is here tonight. I don't even have a joke here. I just think Helen Mirren is awesome. She's awesome. Sitting at the same table, I see Mike Bloomberg. Mike, a combative, controversial New York billionaire, is leading the GOP primary, and it is not you. That has to sting a little bit. Although it's not an entirely fair comparison between you and the Donald. After all, Mike was a big city mayor. He knows policy in depth, and he's actually worth the amount of money that he says he is. What an election season. For example, we've got the bright new face of the Democratic Party here tonight, Mr. Bernie Sanders.